There is a certain silent anguish that women carry after they realize they have hurt a man who genuinely cared for them, a kind of pain that lingers quietly in the corners of their consciousness. Unlike physical injuries, emotional guilt is intangible yet heavy, a weight that presses against the chest in moments of solitude and reflection. Women may replay words spoken in anger or decisions made in haste, scrutinizing each action as though searching for a hidden flaw that justifies their behavior. This is not merely regret. It is an awareness that someone's heart, so generous and giving, was wounded because of their choices. In many cases, they may have acted out of self-protection, fear, or misunderstanding, yet the realization of having inflicted hurt on a good man cuts deeply. It is a pain that does not manifest in dramatic outbursts, but in quiet moments, the pauses between conversations, the hesitation before reaching out, the sleepless nights haunted by memories. The paradox is that the very person who may have once brought joy and comfort now becomes the source of guilt and self-reproach. Women may feel a profound sadness in recognizing that their actions could have undermined trust, created distance, or instilled doubt in someone who only wanted to love unconditionally. It is a haunting awareness that emotional damage, once inflicted, cannot be easily erased, and that sincere affection, once fractured, requires more than apologies to heal. The internal conflict grows with time, especially when memories of the man's kindness and unwavering patience resurface unexpectedly. They are forced to confront the dissonance between their intentions and their impact, understanding that sometimes love is not enough to shield someone from the consequences of their own choices. This recognition can lead to deep introspection, where women examine not just the actions that caused harm, but the motivations and insecurities that led them to act in ways that hurt someone who deserved only care and respect. There is also an emotional isolation that accompanies this hidden pain, a sense that it cannot be fully shared or understood by others. While women may receive sympathy for general struggles, the specific weight of having hurt a good man is often unseen, because outwardly, life may continue normally. The guilt becomes an internal dialogue, a conversation with oneself that is colored by shame, sorrow, and longing for a chance to undo what was done. This isolation can be compounded by societal expectations that women be nurturing, empathetic, and emotionally intelligent, as if there is no room for human error in the roles they are expected to embody. In this context, admitting that they have caused pain becomes almost taboo, leaving them to navigate a lonely landscape of self-recrimination. The irony is painful. They were often loved for their strengths and independence, yet those very qualities may have contributed to misunderstandings or conflicts that ultimately hurt the man who trusted them most. In solitude, women may reflect on how easy it is to overlook the quiet ways in which a good man gives, how small gestures of care and consistency can be taken for granted until they are disrupted. Every memory of shared laughter, patience during moments of difficulty, and unwavering support becomes a reminder of what has been compromised. The awareness of having been the source of disappointment can be relentless, manifesting in self-doubt and overthinking. Women may question not only their actions but their own worthiness of love, wondering why they allowed hurt to take place when the man before them had offered nothing but sincerity. There is a subtle, lingering ache in recognizing that their own fears, miscommunications, or impatience created an emotional rift that may take years to mend if ever. The pain is both personal and relational, an internal struggle that is invisible to the world but profoundly shaping to their conscience and emotional landscape. Even as women attempt to move forward, this hidden pain remains a quiet companion, a constant reminder of the fragility of trust and the consequences of unintentional harm. It can manifest in overcompensation in future relationships, hesitation to fully open their hearts, or a persistent self-awareness that informs every interaction with a man. This is not mere regret, but an internalized lesson about empathy, responsibility, and the delicate nature of emotional bonds. Women may experience heightened sensitivity to the feelings of others, knowing firsthand the long-lasting impact of even small slights. Their reflections may extend to self-improvement, as they attempt to reconcile past mistakes with the person they aspire to be, a partner who nurtures rather than wounds, who communicates rather than retreats, who chooses understanding over impulse. Yet the shadow of having hurt someone good is never fully erased. It becomes a lens through which future choices are filtered, an invisible compass that guides behavior with caution and mindfulness. Despite the weight of guilt, there is also growth, a deepening of emotional awareness, and a recognition of the responsibility inherent in love. Women learn that true care is not only felt in words or intentions but in consistent, compassionate action. The hidden pain they carry is thus both a burden and a teacher, shaping their emotional intelligence and capacity for empathy in ways that are rarely recognized by those around them. In time, this internal journey may transform regret into insight, sorrow into motivation, and guilt into a renewed commitment to kindness, honesty, and respect in all relationships. When a woman hurts a good man, the most profound consequence is often the subtle erosion of connection, the quiet shift in emotional intimacy that can be difficult to measure but deeply felt. Relationships are built on trust, understanding, and the consistent reinforcement of care, and even a single rupture can destabilize this foundation. Women may notice the change in small, almost imperceptible ways, the hesitation in a voice, the guarded responses, the distance in moments that were once filled with warmth. This loss of connection is particularly painful because it is rarely dramatic. It does not announce itself loudly, but it pervades daily interactions with an almost invisible sadness. Women may feel a gnawing sense of responsibility as they observe the man's subtle withdrawal, recognizing that their actions or words, no matter how unintentional, have shifted the dynamics of a relationship that once felt secure and safe. It can be agonizing to witness the slow transformation of someone who gave everything without expectation into someone cautious, protective of their heart, and less willing to fully invest emotionally. The awareness of having caused this change can be overwhelming, especially when the woman still holds affection and respect for the man, yet is confronted with the reality that she can no longer access the same depth of trust and openness as before. Each conversation may feel like a negotiation of feelings, each gesture of reconciliation shadowed by lingering doubt. The subtle loss of connection becomes a persistent reminder that relationships are fragile and that good intentions alone cannot undo the hurt caused by thoughtless or reactive behavior. Women may find themselves longing for a return to the ease and naturalness that once defined their bond, yet aware that the path back requires more than regret. It demands active, sustained effort, patience, and genuine accountability. This recognition often leads to introspection, as women examine not just the consequences of their actions but the underlying patterns, fears, and behaviors that contributed to emotional disconnection. It is a difficult, often lonely process, but one that deepens self-awareness and the understanding of relational dynamics. Over time, the lingering distance can take a toll on emotional resilience, creating moments of self-doubt and questioning that extend beyond the immediate relationship. Women may replay interactions in their minds, analyzing tone, word choice, or perceived slights, searching for ways to have prevented harm. This self-reflection, while valuable for personal growth, can also intensify the pain of connection lost, especially when it becomes repetitive or obsessive. The man's withdrawal, even if subtle, may be interpreted as judgment, disappointment, or rejection, magnifying feelings of guilt and regret. Women may struggle with conflicting emotions, love for the man, sorrow for the damage done, and frustration at their own inability to undo the harm. This emotional complexity highlights how deeply intertwined empathy, remorse, and relational awareness are in the human experience. It also underscores the vulnerability inherent in loving someone who is fundamentally good, for their trust and openness make the pain of any rupture more profound. The subtle loss of connection is not just an interpersonal challenge. It is a mirror reflecting one's own growth areas, emotional blind spots, and the necessity of conscious communication in relationships. In confronting this reality, women may feel a renewed commitment to listening, understanding, and prioritizing emotional safety in all future interactions. It is a painful but essential lesson. The emotional architecture of a relationship is delicate, and even the smallest fractures can create lasting distance if not addressed with honesty, humility, and consistent care. In many cases, women may attempt to reconcile or restore the bond, only to realize that some shifts in connection cannot be fully repaired. The man, having experienced hurt, may naturally protect his emotional well-being, resulting in a slower rebuilding of trust. Women may feel frustrated by the limitations of apology and explanation, understanding intellectually that time and behavior are needed, but feeling emotionally impatient for the restoration of closeness. This tension highlights the intrinsic complexity of human relationships, where intentions, perceptions, and actions intersect in ways that are often unpredictable. It teaches women that respect for emotional boundaries is just as important as expressing affection, and that even the most loving gestures cannot substitute for consistent, thoughtful behavior over time. The process of healing is gradual and requires both parties to engage in mutual understanding, yet the initial pain and awareness of lost connection remain a formative experience. For women, this journey illuminates the deep responsibility that comes with emotional intimacy and the delicate balance between expressing oneself and honoring the heart of another. It reinforces the notion that true care is demonstrated not only through grand gestures but also in the small, everyday actions that preserve trust, respect, and emotional closeness. The subtle loss of connection thus serves as both a challenge and a lesson, shaping women's capacity for empathy, patience, and mindful engagement in their relationships moving forward. After hurting a good man, women often find themselves living with a quiet, persistent reflection that colors future choices, relationships, and even self-perception. This reflection is not simply about regret. It is an ongoing process of understanding the ripple effects of one's behavior and the ways in which personal actions shape another person's emotional world. In moments of solitude, memories of the man's patience, generosity, and consistent care resurface, often accompanied by a pang of remorse and a wish to have acted differently. Women may analyze the motivations behind their actions, recognizing fears, insecurities, or misunderstandings that contributed to the hurt. This self-examination can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it is an essential part of emotional growth. By confronting their mistakes with honesty, women develop a deeper appreciation for empathy, accountability, and the importance of nurturing emotional bonds. The long shadow of reflection is a reminder that relationships are living systems, delicate, responsive, and profoundly affected by even small lapses in understanding or care. Women learn that love is not just a feeling, but a series of choices and actions that require conscious attention and effort. It is a realization that the consequences of one's actions extend beyond the immediate moment, shaping the emotional landscapes of those around them in lasting ways. This recognition can inspire a renewed commitment to integrity and kindness, guiding behavior in all future relationships and interactions. Reflection also often leads to personal growth, as women integrate lessons learned from the experience into their understanding of themselves and others. They may become more attuned to emotional cues, more patient in moments of conflict, and more deliberate in their words and actions. The pain of having hurt someone good teaches humility, the value of listening, and the importance of balancing self-expression with care for others. Women may develop a heightened sensitivity to the consequences of their choices, understanding that emotional harm is rarely intentional but always significant. This process transforms guilt into insight, regret into empathy, and sorrow into a deeper capacity for meaningful connection. The experience can be transformative, fostering maturity and emotional intelligence that enriches all aspects of life. Women may also learn to forgive themselves, not in a way that minimizes the hurt caused, but in a way that acknowledges their humanity and capacity for change. The shadow of reflection thus becomes a guiding force, shaping future relationships with greater awareness, compassion, and commitment to mutual respect. Ultimately, the hidden pain felt after hurting a good man is both a burden and a teacher, a complex interplay of guilt, awareness, and growth. It is invisible to the world yet profoundly influential, shaping the emotional and moral framework within which women navigate their relationships. While the pain can be intense and enduring, it also catalyzes self-reflection, empathy, and personal development, creating a foundation for healthier, more conscious connections in the future. Women learn that love involves responsibility, that actions carry weight, and that the true measure of care is found in consistent, thoughtful engagement. This journey through remorse, reflection, and growth is deeply personal, marked by introspection and emotional evolution. It demonstrates that even painful experiences can contribute to wisdom, compassion, and a fuller understanding of human connection. In the end, the hidden pain is not merely a source of suffering, it is a catalyst for deeper awareness, more intentional choices, and a richer capacity for love, respect, and emotional integrity.